Welcome back to Bills and Business. I'm your host, Laura Carr, co-founder of USLege, and today's guest is Emily Love, Director of Legislative Affairs at Cross Oak Group. Previously, she traveled Texas as the External Affairs Coordinator for Texas 2036, and she served in the office of State Rep Dwayne Burns. She's also the founder of The Lobby Label, a fashion brand empowering women in politics with high-quality, affordable attire for the Texas Capitol. We'll explore her journey in advocacy, her legislative work, and how she's bridging policy and fashion together. Well, Emily, for those who don't know you, can you tell people a little bit more about you and what you're up to?
Yeah, so I work for Cross Oak Group. We're a contract lobby firm, and I've been there for about 2 years. Prior to that, I was at Texas 2036, which was an organization ran by Margaret Stillings. She was the Secretary of Education for George W. Bush, and now they have a great team over there. I was hired, I think I was like the 12th person hired, and now they're a huge group, big policy think tank, and I was running the Texas Roadshow, and so I was traveling all over the state doing policy work, and that was super fun. But prior to that, I was with Representative Dwayne Burns in the 87th legislature, and he's the best ever, and he went to Tarleton, that's where I went to school. Went to school with his kids, and we met at Tarleton, so I was working for the president of the university, and they needed someone, he needed help in his office, so I came down, and I've been here ever since, so.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So was it kind of luck, or what got you really into politics?
So I worked, I was big into MFA, and we did public speaking, and my ag teacher was working on a bill with a congressman who's still in the White House, but they wanted, if you sell an animal that you're getting scholarship money for, and that's what, the reason we raised animals in FFA was to get scholarship money for college and save that up, and you raise your animal, you sell it, and you take all that money for your scholarship for college.
That's so cool.
You get taxed on it, and so we were working with him to eliminate the tax on the first $5,000 on a sale of an animal, and I mean, it's for college. Why would you don't pay taxes on the grants you get or the, scholarships you get from your university. And so that was like in high school. I didn't do much. We went to DC and we got to go around the Capitol. I was just enthralled with it all. And we met an intern who was interning in a Texas senator's office. It was in Ted Cruz's office, and I just thought I had to be her. And it was so that was my first little taste of it. And then when I was working for the university president at Tarleton, Dr. Hurley, his chief of staff was a chief of staff for 10 years in the House here. And she looked at me and said, you have to be here. You have to go to Austin. You're going to do great. You love people. You love talking. You love, forming genuine relationships, and you're smart and you can do it. And so my ag teacher, and then Amanda Tollett, who actually, she works at TMA now, who's one of my clients, so we get to work together a lot, but she really encouraged me to get here and kind of set it all up for me to be here. So luck of meeting people who believed in me. So
that, I think, is huge.
Yeah.
You have to have those, and then they teach you all the ropes.
Yes, she did. She told me, if you ever cry, because it's going to be hard and stressful, and it was, then just either go to the staircase or the bathroom, or don't let other people see your tears. You're strong. And okay, got it. So anytime I had to cry, I would call her.
That is so sweet. It's so good to have female mentors.
I know. It's very, very important. Very important.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's how I got here.
So I know what you're up to now at Cross Oak, but what kinds of things are you focusing on this session, and what work are you doing?
Yeah, we have, so since we're contract, we have lots of a different array of clients, but some really important ones that I get to have had the pleasure to work on for the 2 years that I've been lobbying for Cross Oak are the Craft Brewers Guild. They're super, super great organization with all the Texas craft brewers around the state of Texas, and we have 3 major bills that we're working on. The Guild and Cross Oak passed, with the help of our legislators, passed Beer to Go a couple of sessions ago, and now we're working on Beer to You. So you can, be a Winery of the Month club or winery. I get wines in every quarter from a Fredericksburg winery or California winery. Then you can't do that with breweries. So if you go and visit a brewery in Fredericksburg or in your hometown, if you go to Tomball, wherever it may be, and you want to support your local business and buy beer directly from the brewery to come to you, you can't do that because of the red tape that's up right now. And so that's one of the things we're working on. And then another one is interfacility transfers, with just being able to bring your product back and forth to your own location, your own product to your own facility. If you have a brewery and a brew pub, you can't, if you run out of a certain type of very popular beer at your brew pub location, you have to call your distributor to get it to you, and you have to buy back your own product. And so we just want it to be able to, have the alcohol of your product to your own facility. And then our third one, that's a really fun one, actually ties back to my ag background of growing up in agriculture and working for the chair of ag, is called Beers for Steers. That's a super fun one. So right now, Texas breweries, they use barley and wheat and grain. They have spent grain after they brew the beer, and when they add hops to the beer. All that spent grain is donated to local farmers already. It's tons of grain that's already donated, and there's no compensation, there's no trade-off. It's like when you bring clothes to Goodwill, you get a tax write-off. Well, breweries are just giving farmers free feed, and it's beneficial for the agriculture community and for the brewers. So we're trying to get a bill to instill an excise tax, so they get a little bit of a tax credit to help local businesses.
I love it.
That's fun. That's a fun one.
Just a note on that, I did not realize how contentious the alcohol lobby was until last session. So I guess session before that. So I worked with Ryan Brennan and was lobbying with him, and it was Treaty Oak Whiskey Distillery. So we would literally, that's when I found out so much about how the beer and the wine and then the spirits and then the package stores all and we love everybody and everyone wants to be involved. We just want the same fairness that everyone gets, It's a strange world. That was in the last session. I got lobbied more than anything on those bills. As soon as they came up on the intent calendar, 5 different people came in to talk to me about them. But we love all of them. We don't. The brewers love the 3-tier system. Is beneficial. It's a good thing to have in Texas. We just want the same fairness that every other industry in the alcohol space gets. So that's cool.
Yeah.
What are the big fights or challenges you're seeing? Any challenges with those bills this session?
Not too many. Just kind of the same that we've gone through in the past couple sessions. But Beers for Steers is a really, I think, everyone says agreed upon bill, but that's pretty agreed upon. I think that it's a really cool thing that brewers are already doing and helping local businesses, local farmers, and that's just. They're already doing the good of donating these spent grain. It's high quality product they're putting into beer, so it's really good feed for the cattle, and so that's really a good, I think, not contentious and not fought upon bill, but we'll see. Otherwise, I think that there's a lot more information about the bills that we're presenting this session. We had an alcohol 101 and teaching people. I think that's the biggest thing for any client, honestly, is just getting people the knowledge of why we're pushing for this bill. And we're just trying to have the same fairness of every other industry that we want to have for the brewers. So
it totally makes sense.
And then, so that's a fun client. We also have some other clients. I am the executive director for the Transportation Advocates of Texas. That's new, which is not a new organization, a new role for me and a new client for myself, and that's just trying to get funding for all transportation industry in Texas to keep our roads good, our planes and ports and railroads and everything in between, the engineers, the concrete pipe, everyone to keep getting funding from the state. So that's a fun one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is kind of occupying most of your time with all the different clients you have right now?
Yeah, we have, I think a lot of it is, committees being out now, just trying to maintain relationships with the people we have and get that information to them for all my clients. But the brewers are, I really am passionate about that one just because it's helping out, mom and pop businesses. So that one is taking up a lot of my time, trying to get that in front of people. And then another fun one that we're working on is we represent the upland game bird conservation, one of the partners at Cross Oak and I, and so we're trying to get a group set up, an advisory committee for wildlife conservation in the state of Texas, so wildlife, land, water, and that is a really big deal to a lot of quail people. So there's a large industry in quail hunting across the southern United States, but in Texas, quail is a good animal species, a game species to look at to have a good umbrella for what we can be working on in our ecosystem. So if you have a good quail population restoration regimen in place, then we have more water, we have less carbon emission, we have more game species in forests, we have better ecosystem because the ground cover is better and the trees are fuller. There's a lot of things that quail touch, which is very random and niche thing, but that's a fun one that we're setting up with some freshman reps it's going to be a good fun good thing for all of Texas: land, wildlife, and water conservation. And water is a big deal as well, and that is something we're pushing for so we can try to conserve water.
I find contract lobbying is so fun, and you get to pick your own clients.
Well, I've learned I have such a healthy respect for people who have been in this industry for such a long time, because I just got my very first client on my own. Thank you. It was so much harder than I thought. It's so much word of mouth, and your reputation is really important. And I thankfully work for really, really amazing men who all have been in the building or have been around for a long time, where I kind of just got to acquire a lot of the work from the clients that they've had for 10 plus years. But they've encouraged me to also find my own clients. But it's really me just telling every single person in my life, like, oh, you own a business, you need a lobbyist. Oh, you have this, you need a lobbyist.
Yeah, you do.
And then hopefully they pick me, and then I get to say, if we do want to represent that or not. But usually, if there's not a conflict of interest, then it's easier to just say, yes, we would love to advocate for your company or organization. And I do enjoy that I get to, I guess, quote unquote, pick. But
for sure,
hopefully I get picked by businesses. So if anyone needs a lobbyist, you just let me know.
Love it.
No, I do work for really good men who allow me to work on things that I'm passionate about. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You also work in tech, right? Across the board. So some tech clients here?
So we represent Amazon and AWS. So Amazon Web Services, we do some work for them, and then we also have an autonomous vehicle company called Zoox, which that's a really fun one where in Austin they're mapping the city right now. They're in a couple of other states, but they have a really cool we've seen so many big announcements from many tech companies for robo taxis and autonomous vehicles, and they're a really good company. They're out of California, but they're in a few other states, and they have people here, boots on the ground in Texas, as well as us contracted, and we're just trying to, there's so many people doing it, and it's coming so quick. They want to do it the right way, and they really care about the quality of the mapping of their vehicles. So, if they're going to be running in the city of Austin, they're going to take a whole year mapping out the city to make sure that everything is zipped up and ready to go for when they have their autonomous vehicles here.
Awesome. Are they on the ground at all yet?
In different states. So in Las Vegas, in California, and then they're mapping Florida as well. So some parts of Florida.
That is very cool. Well, you're a busy gal. And in addition to all your lobby work, you also are an entrepreneur in a really fun space. So do you want to tell people about the lobby label?
Yeah, so I started the lobby label, I guess, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I kind of want a hiatus from it because it's so much work and it's so busy during fishing.
Sure.
Yes, but I started the lobby label because, this industry is so male dominated, and there's so many really wonderful women who are all around, and there's so many amazing people who have come together, like the Pete Granite Foundation.
Yes.
Who are amazing, and I love very much, but there's not really a space for, just fashion, which sounds so, simple, but anytime I would wear, I've always loved dressing up, and I used to be such a tomboy, and then I just love dressing up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
When I was raising cows, I never dressed up, never wore makeup, and now I just think fashion is kind of something where, men just get to they can wear the same suit 7 days a week, and no one would know. No one would notice.
I would never notice.
But I feel like if I wore this hot pink dress, this is from the lobby label, actually.
Nice.
I wore it for this occasion. I feel like if I wore the same hot pink dress, maybe I'm just thinking too much about myself, but if I wore it every single day for a whole week straight, sure, at least someone at my office would say, hey, why are you wearing the same pink dress every single day?
Totally.
Maybe no one is looking at what I'm wearing, but I like to feel good about what I'm wearing, and I think that, what you wear is a reflection of a little bit of your personality. And so if you're advocating for people or in the building, then you get to also be fun with it. And so I started it because there's not really a guide or a handbook for, I am a first generation college student, and my parents have trade jobs. My mom's a cake decorator and my dad is an electrician, and they are the best at their jobs ever, but I just didn't have anybody telling me how to dress professionally. And so when I went into the Capitol for the first time, I worked for an office full of men, and then my one other legislative aide with me, and we were just, thankfully we had each other to know what we were wearing that day, and now I work for another office full of men. And so I kept thinking about a girl who, first generation college student who didn't know where to start, didn't know what to wear, and so I kind of started a place where people can come and see what to wear in the interim, and so what to wear on the floor if my boss is here but it's not really a day that it's too crazy, so it's all these issues that I came out with in the lobby label, and the amendments are the accessories. And so I put together little style guides of what I would wear if my boss was, if a member was on the floor, if I had a meeting today, or if it was the interim issue. And so and then I include things like from links to Amazon white tennis shoes, or everyone has a pair of white tennis shoes, I think, right now, because they're pretty trendy. But and then I want it to be a place for affordable and high quality clothing as well. And I'm 5'11", I'm 6'1" in heels, and we have the opposite problem. And I want to be super.
I'm 5 foot.
I know, I'm like a whole foot.
I know. I always crack up at our pictures.
I know.
There's like a foot in between.
Yeah. My granny I always used to lean over and punch, and my granny would always say, "No, be proud of how tall you are." And now I really love being so tall, and there's never good long clothes, and so I wanted it to be an inclusive place for longer clothes, for shorter clothes, and everywhere in between, every size, but high quality and affordable. Because when I first got to the Capitol, we all know how much interns get paid, if anything, and so it's hard to find good quality clothes at an affordable price, and also that match the vibe of the day, I guess. There's not like a set in stone rule of what to wear. Dress professionally, and men know what that means. Men just wear a suit or a colored button down and slacks, and that's easy as can be. And so I just wanted it to be a place where women can know what to wear and have an easy, accessible place to find that. And so that is the lobby label in a nutshell. But in that, I also always have, the saints that they are, the women who had to fight their way to get to where they are, but the veteran women lobbyists always would say, "Oh, we wear the same size shoe." Like, there's some taller ladies who have bigger feet like me, and they're like, "Oh, if you want my shoes like that, you can have them." And so I wanted also to have a kind of Capitol consignment space, to have people who are getting rid of their really nice, like, shoes, bags, clothes. They can have a place for that, so they can get rid of it. And then I want to start a scholarship out of that, so anything that sells out of Capitol consignment would go to an intern who needs professional clothes.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of on the hiatus, but I did just get my first application for that, and so that's on my website, a lot of people. But I don't know, so I'm excited for that to kind of get off and going. I think I've had a launch party, and then we've a couple of girls who have been doing it for years and years. There's a clothing swap that we do, so we did that, which you came to, which was fun.
That's really fun.
We held it at my office, and we decided to do it amongst the whole Capitol. It was kind of just a group of all girlfriends, and I had some lobby label stuff there, and everyone brought their clothes that they didn't wear anymore, and then we donated the rest to Dress for Success. So,
Dress for Success. I'm so glad you brought that up, actually. Yeah. I love that charity in DC.
Oh, yeah.
So I first heard about it because I'm also a similar background, first college student of the family. And my grandma and my mom were really helpful to me in shopping for all these things. Like, my grandma found the best dresses on sale. I don't know how she'd find some of these sales, but she would find
love it,
$400 dresses for $50 or something. And she just did an amazing job. And also time, it's hard to kind of comb through everything. Right. So she would be really helpful. She's my personal shopper for a long time.
I love that.
So I love it.
Can you use your family?
I know. She actually loves to help people if you ever
She can be my lobby label shopper because I don't have time during session.
There you go.
Got it.
So, but I do think that that's a really big point. The men in this industry already know what they're going to wear every day.
Right.
And women, there's a really big line, and I'm sure being tall as well, but like the length of things, you have to make sure it's appropriate.
Right.
All those different things you have to kind of worry about. But
which I never want to, I would never want to wear something that is inappropriate and comfortable, but sometimes a dress is probably short on me that might go to, your knees.
I know, I was thinking about that.
So it's not something that like I choose to, but sometimes they're just not a good option for, affordable, high quality, and always appropriate clothes because they just don't make, just regular boutiques around wherever don't make tall sizes or petite sizes that they carry in the store. And petite is definitely much more accessible than being tall. And
sure,
I'm just made this way, That's
I know.
Not maybe, but I want everyone to be able to feel confident and be respected in this space because it's as a woman, there's a lot of really empowering men, and I work for some of them, and I've met a million of them, but there are some that still, judge you and look at how short your skirt is, and that's just the unfortunate truth that I feel like is talked about but then hushed over, but it's true. And I think that if girls who don't know any better, who are just coming in from being out of college and they've just always had long legs and that's just how they've dressed, that somewhere where they can see what other women are wearing or have someone to look at and say, oh, she's tall too, where'd you get your dress? And I'll tell them, here's a coupon, I don't care if you shop there. I'm not trying to, it's definitely more of a money taker than a money maker, but it is just really, I'm passionate about it so everyone can have an accessible closet that they can come to if they need something for any sort of event. So I want to expand that into other types of events that we have around the Capitol, like, if there's a happy hour after work, but you don't want to come in work clothes, but it's more of a casual day. It's a very specific vibe that's not just normal, it's like business casual.
Right.
What is business casual is so many different things.
It's really hard right now, and then this really weird changing weather we have. So I think I've seen your website and all of your clothes. How did you? And I also just love that you're very mission driven. It's kind of like a mentorship guidance in addition to clothing. Are you manufacturing the clothes, or how are you kind of sourcing the clothes that you're selling?
Yeah, I would love to be able to manufacture them because I feel like I have so many things in my head that I want made, but it's, I don't have someone to source that for me. So right now I'm just doing wholesale out of, any US based company or high quality company, on wholesale websites. So there's a few that you can apply for once you get your license, your wholesale license, and once you get your, Secretary of State filing, all of your tax ID number, everything that you do to set up a business, you can apply with different wholesale companies, and then that's how boutiques work. For also anyone who doesn't know how a ton of boutiques will carry the same dress. You'll see it at this boutique in your little hometown for $75, and then you'll come to Austin and see it in a boutique for $175.
Oh wow!
And they're all sold at the same price, wholesale, and boutiques have their own markup on them, and that's where I was most surprised about in starting this business, is that it's crazy how much the markup is. And a lot of it is justified from, the cost it takes to ship it and the pay your employees. But if I'm only online, I don't have a brick and mortar, and that is a benefit because I don't have to mark them up.
Sure. And
I don't want to. I want people to be able to afford the clothes that I am going to sell that are high quality that they can get their hands on. So
I love it.
Yeah.
And then just so everyone knows, how can they find the Lobby Label?
Yes, the Lobby Label on all platforms, so Instagram and thelobbylabel.com. That's where I am.
Awesome. How has, Texas fashion for women changed in Texas politics fashion, do you think?
I love what women are wearing. I'm sure whoever listens to this, who grew up in this era in the building will probably disagree with me, but I think it's so fun to look back at pictures with, pantsuits and big shoulder pads and pantyhose and heels every day. I don't think women would leave the house without heels on. I think that's so fun, and it's really cool to look at. I feel like that used to be something that, I don't know if you've seen Mad Men or any 70s, 60s to 80s era of fashion. that was something that women had to dress a certain way. People were rebelling in the 70s and wearing different types of clothes. And I think that's always been a thing. Women rebelled in the 20s and cut their hair and wore flapper dresses. And so in the building, I feel like women always had to wear skirts and always had to wear heels and always wear pantyhose. And so it was kind of a hindrance. Whereas now I look at it as an empowerment where now women can wear fun clothes. If you think of some members, like Jolanda Jones, she's always dressed to the nines. I love her outfits. Some of them are crazy, but that's just her personality to be able to shine through her clothing, which I think is really cool. And obviously I don't have, a crystal ball to see how it was back then, how women dressed every day. And I'm sure that there were plenty of women in pantsuits as well. But I feel like it was always something they had to be wearing, had to be dressed up all the time. Whereas now, we have Sneaker Thursdays where people wear sneakers on Thursday, which I think is so fun. It's just empowering that we get to make fun. I wore a hot pink dress to the Capitol today. So,
yeah.
And I love getting stopped by people and seeing my hot pink dress, I think reflects my personality a little. I like people, I like loving, I like saying hello to everyone. And so for my outfit to kind of reflect of if I'm approachable or not is empowering to me. Come say hi to me because I like people. Look at my fun hot pink dress.
Is it called peacocking? Have you heard of that?
Oh, I think so, maybe.
It's so funny, that term, but I think it's like wearing something really outlandish that's an icebreaker.
That's true. That's good.
I think it is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animal prints do that for me, for sure.
That's true.
They're always crazy. I try and find a professional animal print.
Professional animal print.
I
that's
love
good.
a professional animal print.
I'll source some of that for you.
Yeah, I'll send you what I wore earlier. It was very fun.
I think that, just back to the people part of it, that's my favorite thing about this job is the people part, and my second favorite thing is dressing up for it. We work in a really beautiful building, and so I like dressing up for it, but the people part is the best part. There's so many different people from different walks of life and different backgrounds and have different passions, and everyone comes in the Capitol with a different story and different, something to sell. But at the end of the day, the people part is just so inspiring. And when you look at someone and you see what they're wearing, and that just if you love it and you say, hey, I really like your outfit, a compliment goes a long way in this building, especially because sometimes it's a really bad day for people. But if you say, you look great today, or that color's great on you, or your cheetah print is amazing, it can really change someone's whole day. And so I think that is something that is important. If you think a compliment, you should say the compliment.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I always think that. Some people say, oh, I wish I said this. And say it. They'll love it.
I love being bold. That's my favorite word. And to be bold, it's what do you have to lose? Especially complimenting people, that's the easiest thing. But if you're scared to talk to people, an outfit's always a good way to break the ice. Because if you're wearing something fun and they talk to you, then it's easy.
And they're wearing it for a reason.
Yeah. Yes.
What are your kind of long-term goals with the lobby label? What do you want to do? You said a little bit about designing your own.
Yeah, that would be fun. I think the long term would be to have a place where people can, just grow in popularity so people know about it, and that's something I want, because I don't really care if I make money or not. If I could do it for free, I would. If I had all the money in the world, I would just give away clothes for fun. But I think a really big part of it is the scholarship part and the capital consignment part, because I didn't have a ton of money and having to pay for school. I had to pay for my own professional clothes when I got here, but I had a woman when I started working in the president's office. She kind of got me into the position of interviewing. And so when I got the job, we had an event in Fort Worth. It was with the Charles Ambassador. She was the advisor. And she brought me to Dillard, and her name is Sue Goodman. She's an angel sent from heaven. She is the sweetest woman ever. I think she's, I don't know how old she is. She's 70 or 80.
Okay.
She is a rock star. She used to have a motorcycle. She's the coolest woman you ever met. And she is, I think, your height. She is the sweetest woman. She brought me to Dillard's, and she said, pick out some staple pieces to have in your wardrobe, because she knew, I was a poor college student and didn't have any money, and she really inspired me to be able to give back to someone when I had nothing. And so she taught me how to dress professionally,
Nice.
and she brought me to dealers and bought me my first pieces of clothing. And so now, I want to be able to do that too. So long term, I think it would just be a place for people to be able to have a guide, some sort of resource for people to know what to wear around the building for women, and then also for the scholarship part and to give back as much as I can. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll definitely want to get the word out on the scholarship part
yes.
and your company. How do you have any events coming up?
For the lobby label, no, but we should.
After session, maybe.
Yes,
Post session.
a post session
recap.
on it. I do need to have some clothes ordered, but there's so much.
Well, I need to order some more. Definitely need some more dresses. And although I don't know where I'm going to put them, we just moved into this house and
That's my
it's
issue.
historic, so the closet is so much smaller than I was used to, and I'm having to do some Rubik's cubing of my closet right now. So
Well, I just heard this. I mean, I've known about this, but I didn't know there was a saying for it. But what is it? It's buy it nice or buy it twice. Is that what it is?
buy cheap, buy twice.
Yeah, something like that.
My dad always said that.
Oh, what is it?
Buy cheap, buy twice.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think.
Yes. So I would like it. For, I'm the worst to advocate for this because I have a million dresses because I always think I need more. But if you have high quality pieces and you don't really, you can you don't need 7 black dresses. You can just have 1 black dress. You can wear different blazers on top of them. So that is another goal with the lobby label, is to have good high quality pieces where you can, always know what you're going to wear because you have these already styled pieces that I can always wear this one in the interim with my white tennis shoes because it's professional enough, but it's casual enough to not, be a 3-piece suit. So
I totally agree. Having like a capsule wardrobe, I've definitely kind of weeded out my clothes a lot more, and I typically now only buy like black, camel, and white, and I buy very few prints because I do rent the runway for prints.
Yes, I do too.
I love Rent the Runway. I feel like it's such a good company for, I did it all the time in DC for all the different occasions, and sometimes you just need a ball gown, but you don't want to go buy a ball gown that you're going to wear for 2 hours and change into as soon as you can. So my friends and I in DC had the funnest time to stay at this store in Georgetown.
Rent the Runway?
They did. So we would literally go, and they did this unlimited subscription at the time. Unfortunately, since COVID, they no longer do unlimited, but you can get a lot of items. And so unlimited meant truly unlimited. So my friends and I at lunch, we would go to the store, try on a bunch of things, change into a happy hour outfit at the store, or bring it to work, change, and then send it back the next day. We have another thing coming.
That's
was
amazing.
Amazing.
That's so fun.
And I think also saves your dry cleaning bill.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Dry cleaning in Austin was a sticker shock for sure. Then in Stephenville, because this is where Charlton is, I took I don't know, 10 dresses and like 10 blazers my first weekend here in Austin. I got the bill back and I was not prepared. I mean, this is when I was an intern. I don't know why I didn't think about that, but it was quite the difference. So
I love that a lot of your stuff is staples because that's so important. Like a great black dress, you can pair that with a different blazer or like dress up or down.
But I have fun stuff too, and this is fun.
Yes.
It's not really like, anything that a staple would be, but I like the funness of it. So I want to have every piece of, fun and staple. So
I love that so much.
Yes. And blazers and accessories and all the things you can think of, honestly. One-stop shop.
That's very cool. Well, I'm excited to come shop. Definitely some more staples that I need up now. Emily, so what advice would you give to other young professionals wanting to follow in your footsteps?
Yeah. So I think that a lot of us as interns, we are all pretty young when we get here, but we see older lobbyists and they're usually older men, but it's really cool to see younger women, and there's a lot more now, which is super exciting. So I think that the biggest advice is just to find those mentors that have been here for a while and see what they're doing, and to really listen. It took me a long time to know when to not talk and when to listen, because I just love to talk, and I think a lot of us here love to talk, but it's really important to just listen because there's so much wisdom, and especially the women who have been here for a long time, who've had to make their way up, like Symphonia Thompson. I don't know if you've ever got to interact with Representative Thompson.
Not really.
She, just listening to her from afar is amazing. She was awarded a Pink Grand Award. She is so cool. And she just has made it through, I mean, at a time where women couldn't even own credit cards, and especially, I mean, she was a woman of color in this industry. It's just crazy that she is still pushing strong. She's inspiring. So just looking toward those people and then just meeting everyone and learning everyone's names. It's really hard because there's so many, but shaking everyone's hands, keeping everyone's cards, and just being kind to everyone. That is my major statement, is just to be kind, because you never know, even if there's nothing to gain, but you never know where someone's going to be and where someone's going to end up. I mean, there's plenty of former staffers who are now state representatives or, you know, speakers of the House, and it's not even to gain anything from when they are in that position, but all to know that you did everything you could to be a nice person, and that you did your best in serving the state and what we're doing at the Capitol. So just being nice and learning everyone's names, shaking everyone's hands. So,
I love it.
yeah.
Definitely great advice, and I definitely resonate with you on the no one shut up. I had that problem as well when I came from DC.
I think I just learned that like this year, probably.
I'm still learning.
Probably saying I like to talk. We all like to talk.
But now I go back and I cringe, because I would think I knew Texas politics when I didn't. And I'm really glad I took some advice to just know what you don't know. And learning and listening.
Know
is the
what
best
you don't
thing.
know. That is such good advice. I heard when I was a little intern, and I didn't really follow that very well. Now I do, and now I'm grateful for the hard lessons I have learned. And it's also helped me, just being surrounded by really wise men at my, you know, all the guys at Cross Oak. They're very, very wise, and sometimes you think you know something because you heard something, but they actually know the whole backstory from however many years ago. And so it's just nice to be able to listen, and you learn a lot more that way. And especially listening to people who are, you know, the real deal, like Representative Thompson or other women in this space. I mean, Mignon McGarry, I love Mignon, Mindy Elmer, Mindy Carr, all those women who are staples in this industry that really had to put in some work. They are so wise, and I mean, Kathy Grant. I mean, people who are legends that are, I mean, that's just for the women, but for the young men, there are also really wise older men who would be a great example for people to look at, you know, to treat women at the same level that you treat men, with respect, and to empower others. I think that's been something I've learned. You know, you don't always need the credit. Just say people's name in a room full of opportunity. That's like really good advice that I heard. Like, you need to surround yourself with people who would say your name in a room full of opportunity. If people are talking about a good opportunity, and they would say, "Oh, do you know Laura Carr? She has this business. You should really look into it." And so that's some advice that I recently heard that I need to surround myself with people who do that more. You know, I already do, but I love that piece of advice. So
I think that's great. Building each other up.
Yeah.
And I know you're such a supporter of USLege, so thank you for being
I love USLege.
such an outspoken supporter.
Yeah. Oh, my last piece of advice. Sorry, I didn't even know I didn't think of this.
Yeah.
But is to do one thing that scares you every day.
Oh, that's a really good
That's
piece.
my favorite piece of advice. Just do one thing that scares you.
What did you do today that scared you?
Come on this podcast.
Hey! I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Right after.
That's it.
That's good. And only good opportunities, I'm sure, will come from it. You've been
Love you.
a delightful guest.
Thank you
so
for
much
having
for
me.
coming
This is
on.
So much fun, and you're amazing. And everyone needs to get USLege if you haven't.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So good to have you on.
You too.